how'd you come up with this? Can you explain it?
Well, you know, Kris, we've been working together about 18 months now. As soon as you think things are going good in business, something will slap you right in the side of the face, and that's what Sideways Rain is about.
I like it. I like it. Well, with that being said, let's get into episode 1. Here comes the rain.
Here we are, episode 1 of Sideways Rain. I'm so excited. Kris and I, we've been talking about this for a long time, and we're finally bringing it to fruition. We got our professional podcast mics going here. We cleaned up our backgrounds. It doesn't look like a dorm room in here anymore. So we're doing this for real, people. So tune in. Here we go. For those of you who don't know me or never met me before, my name is JR Spiess. I am CEO of a production company called the 180 Group. We mainly focus on events for healthcare, pharmaceutical, and medical device companies, putting on great events in those spaces for national sales meetings, product launches, etc. But also, Kris and I started a venture about 18 months ago called WIFT, which is an app-based software for meeting and events planners to use as they source their meeting space, assess their meeting space, and plan their meetings. So tons of experience in this space. I started in this business in the meetings and events industry back in 2005. The 180 Group was a company that my father started, and we grew together. We worked together for a lot of years as a company, or 3 or 4 people, and sort of plowed through pandemic, became CEO in 2020, which is a really fun time to become CEO of a company as a pandemic starts. But through that, we were able to grow to a company of 16 today that we're growing more. In addition to that, Kris and I were able to build WIFT in the background while running our own companies and having our own careers, working after hours and early mornings with developers to put together this application. So we like to think we know a little bit about business, managing people, running a technology company, and bootstrapping a startup. So we're excited to be here today and talk to you about that and share a little bit of our insight and background.
Definitely. And just to say hi to the people, Kris McNeil here, co-founder and CTO of WIFT, as JR mentioned. Super excited to be on this journey with you, JR, and kind of just share what we've learned throughout our business partnership together and kind of what we learned from our separate professional careers as well. And just to give you all a little bit of context about me, I've been in the meetings and events industry for about 10 plus years now, working from a consultant standpoint and also project management, and also just kind of being that leader when it comes to being innovative with technology in the meetings and events space. So happy to be here with you and super excited to dive into these topics and kind of just create a fun and collaborative space where we can deep dive into what's going on in the world today and kind of figure out how to navigate all the sideways rain. So with that being said, I'll kick it back over to you and let's tell the people a little bit more about what we're doing here.
Yeah. So Sideways Rain was inspired about the business journey. I've learned in my leadership role and even in past life when I was a producer for meetings and events that as soon as you think things are going good, something's going to change, something's going to move. And we saw that seismic change with COVID. But there are little changes that happen a lot of times in business and entrepreneurship that you have to be ready for and ready to adapt to. So we really wanted to create a podcast that addressed that. So there's a million podcasts out there about meetings and events. There's a million podcasts out there just about application development and software. And we wanted to sort of be in a broader space where we're dealing with people's issues and problems on a day-to-day basis inside of their businesses. So nobody's going to sit here on this meeting or this podcast and tell you that everything's rosy every day. Like the nature of business is it's a grind. And you got to keep grinding because the second you get lazy, it gets tougher. So that was sort of the vision behind Sideways Rain. Kris, you helped me bring this to fruition, and I'm excited to share it.
Definitely. And I also think this is just another outlet of collaboration and networking. I know you and I heavily use LinkedIn to communicate and stay in touch with our connections. And I hope that we can develop this into another platform where we have more people that we can connect with across the globe. So super excited once again to be here and looking forward to diving into these topics with you.
Yeah, before we get into themes, I just want to give this group a little bit of background on how we met, Kris. So Kris and I met like a lot of people do in the meetings and events industry in a ballroom. So I think we were in Tampa or Charlotte or all of the above. And we had worked together a few times during 2017, 2018, 2019. Kris was working in a capacity for CVent through Amex Global Business Travel. And they had him in the room doing crowd compass polling, I believe it was. And he came in the room and we sort of set him backstage and set him up with a computer to run his polling stuff and just said, don't fuck it up. And that's how we became friends. So after a few meetings like that, in a few meetings after hours, Kris and I were friends. From there, we sort of fell off, as most people did with COVID. We were all locked down. We weren't traveling, and one day I was just sort of clicking around LinkedIn and I saw Kris's name and sort of put the idea out there for him of this company or this business I wanted to start it around WIFT. So I had this algorithm and idea, and I knew Kris was in this technology space, and it felt like kismet for us to get together. And since then, about a year and a half ago, we were able to put together an application that we got to MVP right now and is in beta testing. So pretty exciting stuff, from a random meeting in a ballroom to running a business together to doing a podcast. So just excited to be here with you after that journey and to continue that journey with you.
Definitely. What a crazy story. I never would have thought that meeting you that day in that ballroom would have us here in 2025. But so glad that we connected and kind of took that step further and kind of getting to know each other and understanding the line of work that we were doing. Um, I know working for Cvent and working for MXGBT, it allowed me to make a lot of connections in that industry of meetings and events. And one of those powerful connections being yourself, it really helped me understand the ceiling or lack thereof of this whole space, and being able to create a product like WIFT and give back to the industry and kind of pave the way to continue to innovate with technology. It's super rewarding. And I know that I speak for both of us when we say we don't want to stop there. We want to keep innovating. And it's super exciting to see what the future holds for us.
Yeah, meetings and events, fun, $11 billion industry. So lots of opportunity there, and I look forward to building in it with you. So let's let the folks know what sort of themes we're going to hit on with this podcast.
Definitely. We have a ton, but just to name a few: leadership, innovation, entrepreneurship. We want to dive into how to start a business from the ground up, bootstrapping, not using investors, using investors, how to source talent, how to manage a team. We want to deep dive into all these topics, and we don't want to just share what our values are. We want to bring on guests that have been doing this in the space or similar spaces as well, that can share that expertise, because just like JR mentioned, it's not all sunshine and roses in this industry and building a business and being in entrepreneurship. So we want to navigate all the sideways rain. We want to navigate all the chaos and just show everybody that this is possible. And as long as you're willing to learn and share your feedback and thoughts, I think it'll pave the way to push our industry and all of the like-minded professionals in it forward. And that's really what you can expect from this podcast, episode to episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not going to just make you sit there and listen to us every week. We're going to take on multiple formats. So we'll bring in some guest interviews with leaders, people around multiple industries, from meetings and events to tech space to retail. We really look forward to that. We're going to provide real life stories and experiences that you can lean on. Tell us your stories. We'll even share those online and help you through them and provide advice if we can. And then thought provoking discussions about business and entrepreneurship. We're really hoping to bring in a lot of voices into this space. So we want to hear from you. What are you interested in hearing about? Let us know. Give us a comment or send us a message. And if you're interested in being on the podcast, let us know as well. We'd love to bring you in and have a conversation.
Definitely. And our plan is to do this weekly. So we want to make sure you all subscribe and stay tuned to the upcoming episodes. And like JR said, we want to hear from the people. We want to make this a fun space, a collaborative space. We don't want to be just another boring podcast. So we welcome all listeners and we welcome all topics. So looking forward to hearing what you guys want to deep dive into, and super excited to share our experiences and pave the way forward.
Yes, and we're going to make it super easy. We're going to put it on all the platforms. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We're going to share this on LinkedIn for our business contacts. We obviously want to hear from you. We're going to start there. If there's anywhere else you want us to share it, if you're on Amazon, we can certainly do that as well. Let us know. But we're going to try to get it out there so you can get it in any format you want. Obviously, if you're watching us today, we're doing this on video, but you can also just listen to us in the car if you'd like. But that's how we plan to engage you. So if you're ready to embrace the chaos of Sideways Rain, come on this journey with us. We're just getting started.
Bring the rain. Here it comes. Let's go.
Let's go.